The girl never expected. She thought she was worthless and got married off to a prince from a neighboring country, would get treated like garbage and verbally abused, but instead the prince actually favored her a lot. Jenny had lived in her sister's shadow ever since she was born. As daughters of the Sanchez ducal family, both of them were expected to do great things. Her sister showed amazing talent for learning from a young age, but Jenny couldn't keep up with her sister no matter how hard she studied, so Jenny wished she could have at least one skill that she could be proud of. But even as an adult she was still far behind her sister, and people called her the useless one of the Sanchez family. Her sister would tell other nobles not to bully Jenny, but that was just to make herself look good. Behind closed doors she looked down on Jenny the most. After the ball that night ended, the sisters rode home in the carriage, and her sister kept putting Jenny down, saying she was her sister but didn't look like any of the family at all. Their mother had black hair, but Jenny's was gray, and their eye colors were even more off. She inherited their mother's light pink eyes, while Jenny's were completely red, and didn't match their father's green eyes either, which made her wonder if Jenny was even her real sister. Jenny could put up with all that, but her sister kept mocking her, saying Jenny's birth caused their mother to die in childbirth, so she could never forgive Jenny for killing their mother, and would use everything she had to deny Jenny's existence. After the carriage ride they got home. The butler told Jenny to go to the guest room, because an important guest was waiting. Jenny hurried over, and that guest turned out to be the king himself. He told Jenny not to be nervous, and that he came to ask if Jenny had a lover, because the treaty between their country and the empire was about to expire. But right at this critical time, someone had offended the empire's duchess, who happened to be the current emperor's sister. Normally the other side would definitely punish them somehow, but a few days ago the empire sent an envoy. They didn't want the relationship between the two countries to get worse, so they proposed that someone of noble status marry the empire's second prince. Jenny was scared when she heard that, because although the second prince was talented in both swordplay and magic, and had earned countless military achievements, he was also known for being ruthless and cruel, and would even kill women and children without mercy. The king said they had to decide on the second prince's bride soon, and hand her over to the empire. But the problem was his daughters already had engagements, and he couldn't let Jenny's sister marry over there, since she had high magical talent and was a candidate for the next saint. Jenny understood what the king meant, so she volunteered to become the prince's bride. She knew there were plenty of people who could take her place, but no one could replace her sister, so she was the one chosen. After that the king went back to his original question. Jenny said she had no lover, and was willing to marry the empire's second prince for the sake of their country. The king was satisfied with that answer, and told Jenny to get ready. The handover would happen in 3 days. After the king left, only Jenny and the duke remained in the room, and the atmosphere got awkward. Jenny didn't know what to say, but to her surprise the duke suddenly asked for her opinion. If she regretted the marriage just now, he would go convince the king to call it off. Jenny said if they did that their country would be in danger, but the duke said he knew how crazy his words sounded, but watching his own daughter get sent off like a sacrifice to a foreign country, he just couldn't do it, because Jenny was his most important girl. Jenny thought she misheard. She always thought her father didn't like her, since she was useless and didn't deserve to be loved. Her father immediately said that was impossible. He was just too busy with work and neglected the family. And after getting her father's confirmation, Jenny said she didn't regret marrying the neighbor country. If there was one regret, it was that this marriage didn't have a reason that made her irreplaceable. Then the father and daughter talked through the night, but they didn't know the maid had overheard the marriage news, and of course her sister wouldn't miss this chance to humiliate her. Right before Jenny left for the empire she mocked her, saying Jenny was going as a sacrificial offering to settle a dispute, and was marrying someone famously cruel and violent, so a talentless failure like Jenny would never get anyone's love. Jenny held it in. She figured this would be the last time she saw her sister, and she'd never be humiliated again. Soon the departure day came. Jenny cried as she said goodbye to her father, thanking him for raising her all these 16 years. Even though she was scared to leave, for the sake of the country's peace, she still chose to go to the empire. After a full day of travel, Jenny finally arrived at the second prince's night order. Since the marriage had to be kept secret, she disguised herself as someone joining the night order returning from their expedition. Then they'd all enter the empire together. That way no one would get suspicious. Soon Jenny reached the destination, and finally met the infamous second prince.